Cold temperatures have been so severe this winter that the Great Lakes are almost completely frozen over, something that hasn't happened in 2 decades. And the potential economic impact is huge. Scott Cohn reports from aboard one of 9 U.S. Coast Guard cutters trying to keep those vital waterways open.
7:45 a.m. aboard the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Hollyhock. The officers are getting their first briefing of the day.
Barometer is 30.01 and falling.
Ice forms every year on the Great Lakes, but rarely as much as this year. They're nearly 90% frozen over. 20,000 tons of cargo needs to get through the lakes in the winter months alone. Coal, fuel, and iron ore to make steel.
So we're about to enter that ice right here.
The Coast Guard focuses on choke points like this, the St. Clair River, a key stretch of 41 miles on the route between Lake Huron and Lake Erie. The ice here is up to 2 feet thick.
Our Coast Guard fleet has been working hard to do our best to keep the waterways open.
Lieutenant Commander Justin Kimura is the ship's captain.
We're working longer hours, using our ships a lot more. Just the amount of ice, it's more than I've ever seen in my career.
Hollyhock has a crew of about 50, and they're going nonstop. The Coast Guard has already logged more than 10 times the number of hours it spent on Great Lakes icebreaking last year. Our mission today is to escort a Canadian tanker through the icy waters of Lake St. Clair up the St. Clair River toward Lake Huron. The tanker is loaded with refined petroleum, so not only is this treacherous work, one false move could mean an environmental disaster. Along the way, Hollyhock is breaking more ice, but the chunks of ice will stack on each other and refreeze thicker.
So a lot of it is ice management and breaking only what we need to, and so the rest of the ice can stay in place and not jam up any other choke points.
4 hours into our voyage, we make contact with the tanker, which follows us a safe distance back in the fog, back to the north. This is why what is normally a one-day trip through a stretch of the Great Lakes is now taking as much as a week.
Even with the icebreaker on your front, they're not able to make the normal speed.
And time is money. While it's too early to measure the economic impact, iron ore shipments are down by 1/3. If this keeps up, steel mills along the Great Lakes could be forced to cut back production for lack of raw materials. And the last time it was this bad, they were still breaking ice on the Great Lakes in May. Scott Cohn, Nightly Business Report, aboard the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Hollyhock on the Great Lakes.